In Toronto tonight, the number 2 teams in the East and West square off as the Lakers come to town. But they'll do it without Luka Doncic, who's out for the birth of his second child in Slovenia. Luka is averaging 35.3 points per game, along with 8.9 assists and rebounds per game this season. And it's now time for Shoot Your Shot, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. These 3 player props are all available on DraftKings. Here's some ones I'm feeling hot on. Brandon Ingram tonight against the Lakers, over 22.5 points. Scotty Barnes also as well, over 20.5 points. And we were just talking about the Pelicans a few moments ago. They're playing the T-Wolves again. Trey Murphy, over 20.5 points. Missouri viewers, DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State, and new customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. So download the app and use the promo code SCREEN when you sign up. All right, let's go to the city of brotherly love. We've got a little brotherly double coverage here with our guys, Anthony Slater and Tim Bontemps, as the Warriors and Sixers are ready to do battle. Anthony, we'll start with you. What's the latest on the injury situation with the Warriors?
Yeah, Steph Curry not here, won't be on the 3-game road trip. I would target next Friday at home against Minneapolis, Minnesota, as his likely return. That's what they're targeting. Jimmy Butler questionable along with 5 other Warriors tonight. We'll see how he is pregame. But an interesting aspect for the Warriors rotation tonight, DeAnthony Melton, exactly a year after his ACL surgery, will make his season debut. And as you peer into the future and the Warriors figure out, what they want to do at the trade deadline, what Melton is over the next month will be, a good piece of information for them, because he's the kind of player they need, but they need to actually see it on the floor.
Yeah, certainly will help defensively for sure. And let's get over to our guy, Tim Bontemps. We have 2/3 of the Hoop Collective here today with McMahon and now Bontemps. So, Tim, what do we know about Joel Embiid and Paul George's availability?
Well, George, not a big surprise. We're also talking about injury updates with the Sixers because, of course, we're talking about injury updates with the Sixers. But there is some good news on that front as Joel Embiid has been upgraded to questionable from doubtful earlier today. Obviously, we'll see what happens with his warm-up before the game, but it's certainly trending toward Embiid playing tonight for the second time this week. He came back from missing 3 weeks on Sunday, played in that crazy double overtime loss to the Hawks, played 30 minutes, a season high. Then he sat out in Tuesday's win over the Wizards. And as for Paul George, he was questioned earlier today. He was downgraded to out. However, George, with the Sixers playing a back-to-back and having a game in Milwaukee tomorrow against the Bucks, I think you could see a very real possibility of Paul George playing tomorrow in Milwaukee. He's continued to ramp his activity back up since coming off that offseason knee surgery. He's rounded into form over the last couple of weeks. And the Sixers are slowly starting to get their complement of players back, still without Kelly Oubre, but getting Paul George and Joel Embiid up and running. We'll see if Embiid's back out on the court tonight.
All right, we'll see what the Tyrese Maxey-led Sixers, who's been balling out, looks like against the Warriors tonight. Anthony and Tim, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, so Spears, let me ask you, what are you looking forward to in regards to this matchup with the Sixers and Warriors?
I'm looking forward to seeing DeAnthony Melton back. He was a huge addition for the Warriors last year. Was a starter.
Yep.
Scored a lot. I know Steve Kerr loved him, so I think he's big coming back. They got a lot of guards, though. He just added Seth Curry the other day. But this is a good problem for the Warriors right now.
Coming back and dealing with Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah. Have fun.
Welcome back.
Yeah, right.
Look, I think whenever Joel Embiid gets upgraded on game day, that's usually a good sign if you're a Sixers fan. I want to see him string some games together. I want to see them with Embiid playing 20, 30 minutes a game and getting into a rhythm where we can start to see him against good teams. And this is a game where he can feast. They'll probably put Draymond on him, but he can score a lot of points in this game.
Let me ask you this, Ramona, because you've been around the Sixers a ton and Joel a ton. I mean, this seems to be the transition of the Tyrese Maxey-led Sixers. How does Joel kind of manage that potential situation?
Well, that's a hard mental shift to make, right? You have been the franchise. You are the process. You are the result of the process. And I think he wants to play some more, right? Like in the managing the minutes and all that. But this is an opportunity for him to be healthy in the playoffs for the first time in his career. He's never been healthy at this point when it matters. And I think he's eventually going to get to that place where he embraces the fact that he doesn't have to carry them every single night, that Tyrese Maxey is the guy who's going to be out there 45 minutes a game.
One thing that's interesting about the Warriors, I was talking to Draymond before the game the other day, they played a tremendous amount of road games. Mm-hmm. They're very, very tired, and now they're back
right.
out
Yeah.
east.
Most road games of anyone this season. Yeah.
And so it will be better come January, but I know this team is pretty fatigued right now.
Yeah, and the Embiid thing is fascinating because he has to figure out almost how to be a complementary player when everything's revolved around him for his entire career. But clearly, it is Tyrese Maxey's franchise now.
It helps that he likes Maxey, too.
Yeah,
They're
well,
friends.
Sure.
And who doesn't? But this is about building around that backcourt, maybe the most athletically dynamic backcourt in the NBA. And
Giannis Antetokounmpo left last night's game against the Pistons after just 3 minutes on the court. He goes down with a non-contact injury, ruled a right calf strain. He did not return. This could be a major blow for the Bucks, who currently sit in the 10th spot in the Eastern Conference. Welcome in. George Sedano in for Malika Andrews today, and I've got our senior insider, Shams Charania, with me now. So, Shams, what do we know about Giannis' status at this point?
George, I'm told Giannis will miss approximately 2 to 4 weeks with this right calf strain. So the worst case scenario of a more significant calf strain or an Achilles injury has been avoided. But expect both the Bucks and Giannis to be cautious with this calf strain. This is his third calf strain since April 2024. He's had 2 on the left leg, 1 on the right leg. So the Bucks here now will be playing without Giannis for an extended period of time.
And the schedule gets tougher for them as we look ahead here. So what does that mean for their season going forward?
George, depending on their results, their outcomes without Giannis, it could very well shape whether the franchise has an open-mindedness to the realities around this season, around Giannis and his future. We saw last night in the Detroit games, key players stepped up. Kevin Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins, and General Manager John Horst, Coach Doc Rivers, they have believed in this roster's ability to contend in the Eastern Conference. So this will now give the team a runway for its own evaluation period in the coming weeks. 7 of the next 11 games the rest of this month on the road. And we've seen with and without Giannis. With him, they have one of the best offensive ratings in the NBA. Without him, they have the worst.
Wow. We'll certainly keep tabs on all of it, Shams. Thanks. Appreciate it. So Giannis has made All-NBA consecutive seasons 9 straight times here. Only LeBron has a longer active streak. Now, if he misses 9 games or more while recovering from this injury, that would make him ineligible for the awards this season. So let's dive further into what's going on here with Giannis. In the last 24 hours, we got Tim McMahon, Ramona Shelburne, the Hall of Famer Mark Spears with me now. So, Mark, how does this injury impact the Bucks-Giannis situation?
Well, from a playing standpoint right now, I talked to Doc Rivers a little while ago, and, I mean, how do you replace Giannis, right?
You don't.
You don't. But they're going to lean on their backcourt. Kevin Porter, they got Scooters averaging about 20 points per game. Ryan Rollins is averaging 18. That's not a lot, but that's what they're trying to do. And Jericho Sims is going to start at center, but in terms of, like, trading for Giannis or something like that, I don't need to know his health. He'll come back at some point. If I'm a GM, I'm still trying to get him.
I just think it's going to be real quiet, right? That was a heck of a report Shams had yesterday, and I think the entire league stood up and took notice and wants to know more. And everybody I've talked to in the last 24 hours is like, does he have a list? How close are we? Where is this? And because he's going to be out, because Giannis is going to miss, if it's a 4-week injury, that's 11 games. So that's 11 pre-games and post-games and practices and shoot-arounds that nobody's going to be asking him questions about his future in Milwaukee. And I think that's probably, other than the fact that he's not out there, that's probably good for the Bucks because it's not going to be as much of a story and it's not going to be a distraction day-to-day, night-to-night. Those 11 games matter a lot because if they can stay in contention without him, and they haven't been good without him so far this year, but if they can stay 500 or close to that, then you have more of a case for when he comes back to say, let's play this out.
All right, so Ramona thinks that could potentially be a blessing in disguise in regards to distractions. Tim, how do you feel?
a blessing for Giannis in disguise because he doesn't have to answer the questions on a day-to-day, game-to-game basis. But the question obviously is, has Giannis played his last game in a Bucks uniform? This will absolutely not deflate his value. I mean, it's a 2-time MVP. It's one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Giannis's value is not going to be affected by a 2 to 4 week injury. And look, we've seen as recently as last season a superstar get traded while he was recovering from a calf strain. By the way,
I remember that one,
for
Tim.
another superstar who was recovering from his own injury.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the difference here is if Giannis gets traded, it's not going to be in secret. Okay, the Bucks will
Secret
create
coffee.
Yeah, if the Bucks have to trade this guy, they will create a bidding war. Right. And again, this injury is not going to impact the interest in him. Absolutely not.
All right, well, listen, I don't know if you guys realize this, but there was 45 more minutes of a game yesterday.
Oh, that's
between
right.
The Bucks and the Pistons. So let's take a look at those 45 minutes of basketball.
Win this game, right?
Well, we'll see. We start early in the third.
When they're down.
Just in case you missed it, the Pistons were leading 64-58 when we pick it up here. And then Miles Turner with the attack on the rim on Isaiah Stewart.
Everybody raves about his leadership in Milwaukee this year.
Yeah.
He's going to have to step up, too.
Yep.
Head. One of the best rim protectors in the league, by the way.
2 minutes left in the third. Isaiah Stewart inside on Bobby Portis, and then they start jawing.
Oh, no. Listen. Bobby
Got a little
Portis
nervous
can do
here.
some damage with a punch, but I wouldn't mess with that dude beef stew.
Like,
I think they're both pretty tough. I wouldn't mess with either
I
guy.
would watch that. I watched that on pay-per-view.
Yeah, me too. All right, so Stewart is gone.
5 on it.
2 minutes left in the fourth. Pistons lead by 5. Kevin Porter Jr. with the drive. He finds A.J. Green on the kick.
That's pretty.
He nails the three.
They've missed
Bucks.
Kevin Porter Jr. when he's been out.
Bucks now trail by 2. Next possession, Bucks still trail by 2. Ryan Rollins
Giannis.
with the miss. Sims with the putback.
Bouncy.
So he gets the and one. 13 seconds left. Pistons trail by 3. Cunningham tries. Nowhere near the basket. So the Bucks hold on to win by 4, even without Giannis.
The Rollins story is amazing.
The Pistons are the highest scoring team in the paint this season, but the Bucks got the upper hand on Wednesday despite getting only 3 minutes from Giannis, who is the individual leader in paint points this particular season. Milwaukee's 79% clip in the paint was also the best by any team against Detroit this season. Jamal Murray coming off his season worst 10 points against Dallas on Monday, where he was also dinged up, sprained his ankle in the third, didn't come back for the fourth. Looking to bounce back here. Nikola Jokic finds Murray.
Looks healthy.
Looks okay to me, right? Second quarter, Nuggets up 5. Murray from the elbow.
The ball has healing powers, and he had it in his hands a lot last night.
Final 5 seconds of the half. Murray with the step back 3. Murray 23 in the first half. Now let's go to the second half. Murray had 34 points through 3 quarters. It was a Murray flurry in the fourth, though. Watch this on the handoff.
Oh, it's snowing in Denver, baby. Oh, no, it's in Indy. My bad.
Snow's there, too.
Yeah, it was snowing there, too, because I was there this weekend.
Different kind of snow, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh.
You okay?
My hands are so hot that the snow's got to cool it off, but even that can't do it. Here's another 3.
Oh, no, little step back there. Come on.
Oh, the arrow? Gave him the arrow?
Murray, 52 points, 10 of 11 from 3.
My guys over here, they owe me some words, so you know I got everybody here.
What's up, brother? What are you doing? Outstanding game. What is going on?
Do mans have something to say?
Holy smokes! Nah, that's how you're feeling, bro. It's crazy. Hey, I'll be the first to say it. Yo, Jamal, you're the best, brother. Yeah, Jamal. Best to ever do it. Best to ever do it. You already know.
Well, they're not wrong. The group chat there was not wrong. Jamal Murray shot 19 for 25, including 10 of 11 from 3, as I mentioned. It's the second time Murray has had an effective field goal percentage of 95% or better in a game with at least 25 shots. Nobody else has done that once in NBA history. So Jamal Murray is already the 3rd Nugget this season with a 50-burger, joining Jokic and Aaron Gordon. Denver becomes the 3rd team in NBA history with 3 different players to drop 50 in a game in the same season. Steph, KD, and Clay did it for the Warriors in 18-19. Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Rudy LaRusso with the Lakers in 61-62.
Every day.
For what it's worth, the Warriors and Lakers lost in the association last night. Let's go coast to coast. We start in Houston, where KD, Şengün, and Amen combined for 72 points in a win against the Kings. Russell Westbrook actually became the 17th all-time leading scorer in this game, passing Tim Duncan. Ramona, he's got a real chance to finish in the top 10. Think he gets there?
It depends on if he plays this year and next year. If he plays 2 years, then he has a real chance. If he just plays this year, then I think that'd be hard. He does have a chance at top 5 in assists, though. Probably this year.
Wow, look at that. Russ climbing the charts, as they say. There he is. Let's go to San Antonio. Spurs improved to 7-2 without Wemby, thanks to this huge block you're about to see by Luke Cornett.
Hey,
Get out of here.
Can we all do it?
Usain Bolt, baby.
Oh my gosh.
De'Aaron Fox had 31 as well. He led the way. Tim, what are we learning about these Spurs without Wemby?
We're learning that this is a team that has a chance to do some damage in the playoffs. This team has real depth. Cornette's been a huge signing, and De'Aaron Fox is hooping. They took a big swing last year before the trade deadline, and we are seeing that pay dividends right now.
Let's move on to the Pacific Northwest, where the Blazers were in action against the Cavs. They get an upset win, 122-110. Denny Advia continues his incredible start this season, finishing with 27, 8, and 7. He's averaging nearly 26 a game. So, Mark, is he for sure an All-Star this year?
On the international team, I don't know the rules, how many guys, but
He should be.
Serving, the record probably doesn't help him. But if you got the NBA package, you got to tune in to watch this cat. And, he looked great in Cleveland last night. I'm all for it.
All right, let's go, Denny. All right, now we move on to Dallas, where Cooper Flagg and Anthony Davis hosted the Miami Heat. There's Coop. Him and AD. AD going to work. He kicks it to Coop. Pulls up from the elbow. Good to go. Mavs down 5. Now early in the third, Mavs up here by 13. Ryan Nembhard finds AD for the hammer.
He's healthy.
Early in the fourth, Mavs up 8. Davis connects with Flagg again. He gets the and one.
When does he turn 19?
December 21st.
Wow.
Missed the free throw there. 2 minutes to go. Dallas up 6. Flagg gets it back.
Wonder Boy.
Spin, turnaround jumper.
The Wonder Boy was the guy who left Dallas last year.
Yeah, it's your book if someone wants to pick it up. Andrew Wiggins against Flagg. Flagg rejects him.
Plays both ends of the floor.
Amazing when you have him playing in position, how much better he looks.
Next Mavs possession. AD going to work here. Finds Flagg underneath. And that'll do it.
Quinn
Mavs,
Powers, what do you think? 4-5? Cooper Flagg at the floor?
Mavs win their third straight. All right, welcome back here.
So,
So,
have to do
Tim.
the goggles if you're wearing the protective glasses. You already got anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
True. It's a little...
Well, I mean, I think the glasses and the goggles are like a 2-for-1 kind
Depends
of
how
deal.
bad your eyesight is.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, what's been the key here on this 3-game win streak?
I mean, look, it obviously helps to have Anthony Davis back in the lineup and healthy, but this is being driven by the rookies. Plural, okay? Cooper Flagg is living up to the hype. He is as he was billed, but the contribution they're getting from undrafted rookie Ryan Nembhard on a 2-way contract has started the last 4 games. Folks, last 2 games, 43 points, 23 assists, 1 turnover. 1 turnover.
If you
Never been done by a rookie, drafted or not, ever.
If you watched him in college, though, this is what he did at Gonzaga. Like, he did not turn the ball over. He controlled the game. He could shoot the ball. Like, he is a real offensive threat.
Yeah, and that's Andrew's little brother, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
And you do mean little.
Yeah, 5'11", listed. Listed at 5'11", okay? But he's on the 2-way deal, but he stepped right into there. And the Lakers, immediately, his first game when he played, they threw LeBron at him, hoping he'd be scared, right? Like, oh, I got LeBron. I mean, he did great. They didn't... People aren't necessarily guarding him yet. They're sort of letting him shoot and seeing if that he can beat him. But he's beating them, and it's amazing when you have a real point guard out there how different everything else looks. Because Cooper Flagg, where Jason Kidd would have him in that role, when he was playing point guard, he had the best perimeter defender on him all the time. That's high pressure, like an Amen Thompson on you. Real different when you play more of a point forward and you have a forward defending you. And I think that's been a huge difference. AD's back at the 5. I know that's not his favorite position, but he's suited there with Cooper Flagg on the team at 4.
You know what? I'm interested in this win streak, and if it continues to go.
They've got Oklahoma City next, but go on.
Oh, I know. That's against everybody, right? Like, count that. But Kyrie, I remember hearing before that if it looks competitive, he's chomping at the bit to come back. If he's available late January or February, and they're being competitive with a healthy Anthony Davis, what does Kyrie look like back in that lineup?
Yeah, and I think they're going to have to be competitive for that to be a conversation.
We're saying that now.
You still have to view everything in Dallas through the prism of Cooper Flagg and the long term. I believe they are still going to explore the trade market for Anthony Davis, but this discovery of Nembhard and his development alongside Cooper Flagg is huge. And I don't know if he's going to be a long-term starter. I know this guy's going to be a long-term face of the franchise, Cooper Flagg. With Nembhard, though, There's some J.J. Barea vibes.
Ooh, okay. I like that poll.
I think this guy is going to be at least a significant part of this team moving forward. And for a team that doesn't have their picks after this year for a while, that kind of discovery is huge. Parting gift from Nico Harrison?
Did you get credit for it? Yeah.
Well, hey, if we're going to blame him for D'Angelo Russell and the player off, we got to give him credit for Ryan Nembhard.
Yeah, he did, for sure.
Spokane, Washington, recruit them Gonzaga guys, man.
Yeah, they could play. Them and Villanova guys, or who played for Jay Wright back in the day. All right, 1 year ago, Cooper Flagg was tearing.
And team owner Steve Ballmer reportedly have been accused of circumventing the NBA salary cap by paying $28 million to Kawhi Leonard for a no-show job.
None of us did no wrongdoing.
The average age of your team is closer to receiving their pension. It's not a good sign.
Bradley Beal has sustained a fractured hip.
They are a bottom 5 defensive team.
The Clippers look like hot garbage.
Chris Paul posted on his social media saying, quote, "I just found out I'm being sent home."
That organization right now is a mess.
Chris Paul might have been sent home from Atlanta, but the Clippers still had to play a game against the Hawks. And you see here Ty Lue and the fans' reaction in Atlanta. So the fans giving them some grief there. Early on here, James Harden finding Kawhi for 3.
Man, they needed this win so bad.
Later in the third, Kawhi knocks down the jumper in the paint. He finishes with 21. Next possession for the Clippers. Kawhi finds Harden on the wing for 3. Harden was 5 of 14 from 3. Under 2 minutes in the third. Clippers up by 16. Harden, he'll hit the step back.
I thought that was a huge shot because so many of these games that they've lost, they've blown leads just like this. And that shot made it where they were going to win.
Here's Ty Lue pregame on why it didn't work with CP3.
It just didn't work out like we thought it would, you know. And like I said, I don't like it for CP, you know, but it just wasn't a good fit, you know, and we understood that. And so, like I said, it was an organization, you know, they made the choice, you know, and so moving forward, you know, we got to see what we do. Do I want to see CP go out like this? No, I have a lot of respect for him. He's been a friend of mine over the years, and you never want to see a great go out, you know, like this. But I'm pretty sure he will find something because he's a great player. You know, and so I didn't want to see it end like this.
All right, so the shockwaves are still reverberating about this. But Ramona, what can you tell us about how this whole thing has played out?
Well, listen, this has been going on for several weeks now, and I think we all kind of saw something was happening 3-4 weeks ago when he started getting DNP CDs. You know, coach's decision to not play a guy like Chris Paul once is fine, a matchup, okay, but to do it 3 times in a row, there was definitely something going on. And from what I understand, the coaching staff at some point had gone to him and said, we need you to be better. We need you to say, make sure you respect our authority and not undermine things. And he went to his teammates and actually apologized at one point and said, I'm sorry, my intentions are good, but...
Or Thanksgiving.
Yeah, my intentions are good, but it's coming off a wrong way. So in some ways, it felt like it had been settled because that all had happened a little while ago. And he was kind of back in the rotation, back in the lineup. But clearly, it had not been settled, and they made that decision. And I thought it was interesting, Lawrence Frank said he made the decision Sunday night. And he wanted to do the right thing by telling him in person, by going to talk to him man-to-man, face-to-face, which is why there was a delay. And we know all about the delays. The team flight was delayed. Chris was at an art show, all the things. But it's still, the fact that it came out this way is hard to wrap your head around. And the fun part last night with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan on the FaceTime with Chris Paul, 2 guys who had sort of been scorned by the franchise and maybe don't feel all that good about their time there, but and how it ended. They end up on the FaceTime with CP, and they're laughing and smiling. I'm going to be very interested to see what Blake Griffin says next time he makes an appearance on the Amazon pregame show, which I think is Friday.
You know, I talked to Chris Paul's camp and asked him how he's doing. And he said under the circumstances, he's about as good as he can be. He's been very happy about former players and current players who have reached out, whether on social media or behind the scenes, offering support. So the big question, does he want to retire? Is he done? I was told absolutely not. He does want to play, but I remember interviewing him before the season, and the main reason he signed with the Clippers was to be close to family, go home and try to finish it there. So where does he go from here? There's only 10 teams that have roster spots. One GM told me I just don't have a spot for him. You know, so could it be away? Could it be out east? Could it be away from his family? I was told that Chris would cross that bridge when he gets there.
It's going to be a little while, and I think one of the teams that was interested in him over the offseason, which I think is we have to watch, they don't have a roster spot, but the Dallas Mavericks liked him over the offseason. He didn't want to be away from Los Angeles, but he does have a relationship with Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, but do you want to change that now with Ryan Nembhard and the way he's playing?
And when they create
they don't have a spot.
When they create a roster spot, it needs to go to Ryan Nembhard, who's on a two-way deal now. They're going to need to convert him to a standard contract. I would be surprised if the Mavericks are home. You know, the Knicks had interest this summer. But the other thing, Bobby Marks laid it out yesterday, the Clippers literally can't waive or trade him right
Correct.
now. Like,
it's crazy.
He's just got shipped home and is in complete limbo right now. But a legend cannot end his career getting sent home in the middle of the night on a
Yeah.
It's brutal stuff. And look, ultimately, you know, to your point, it'll be interesting to see where he goes, because to Mark's point, he wanted to be closer to home. You know, how much does winning play a factor? How much does being closer to home play a factor? I think all that stuff is up in the air.
He's going to be home for about at least 2 weeks, maybe a month or more. So by the time he's able to be traded someplace, maybe he's been home enough.
Or just finishing the chapter the right way.
That's right.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would prefer being in a winning situation if I'm him. You know, I think that's what he thought he was coming to also as well. Yeah. All right, shifting back to our top story, Giannis Antetokounmpo is expected to be sidelined for approximately 2 to 4 weeks because of a right calf strain, our Shams Charania reported earlier this Thursday. The injury occurred yesterday after Shams reported that Giannis is mulling his future with the Bucks, having conversations with the team and discussing whether his best fit is indeed with Milwaukee or elsewhere. All right, you hear that? That's Bobby Marks' music, Big Money Marks. Because on ESPN.com,
my new favorite nickname.
ESPN.com right now, if you go there, our front office insider contributed to a story dealing with and detailing Giannis's potential destinations. There's 5 of them, in fact, and it's a race now, potentially, for Giannis. So we're figuring we'll get ahead of the race here. Bobby, let's start with exactly what the Bucks are going to do here, looking for in regards to a return for the two-time MVP. Let's take, before we get to like potential suitors, what are you expecting as far as a return?
Well, I've got, certainly high criteria, and I think certainly Milwaukee does here. I think you got to check off the three main criteria is when you look at draft capital, something Milwaukee doesn't have. Young players on controllable contracts, something Milwaukee does not have. And sizable contracts just to make the money work. And I think you'd like to see something like that in either players on a 1 or 2 year deal. So those are the 3 things that I would look at if you're Milwaukee. And I think as we go through this experiment of looking at these certain teams, I think you're going to find what eventually the winner is going to be as far as that 3 criteria is.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. We've got 5 teams, right? So we're going to start with 2, and then we're going to knock one out, and then we're going to bring in the next one. It's like the Royal Rumble of trades here for NBA. All right, let's take a look at the Knicks. That was the team everyone talked about. Shams reported back in August that he was potentially looking at joining. And we'll bring in the Warriors here to the table. The Knicks can build a trade centered around Cat, a first-rounder, and 3 swaps, while Golden State could package Draymond, Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and 4 firsts. What deal is more appealing of the 2 here, Bobby?
Yeah, I think it's certainly what Golden State can offer based on just the draft picks here. I don't like what New York has from a trade standpoint. Remember, they only have 1 first-round pick, and that's a protected pick that the Wizards have, and that's likely not going to convey. And then you have the Karl Anthony Towns contract, who is certainly an all-NBA player here, but then you have to figure out, do you want to extend Towns this offseason here? So for me, it's Golden State as far as really just based on those future first-round picks for a roster that is certainly aging in Golden State.
All right, so if we lose the Knicks, let's compare what the Warriors can offer, which we already saw, against the Rockets. So let's take a look at this Rockets deal here. See if they can trump the Dubs. Packaging Şengün, Van Vliet, and an unprotected Suns pick. Go ahead, Bobby.
Well, as soon as I saw that name Şengün on there, my eyes perked up here. So certainly what Houston has I think that Phoenix pick is enticing here because it's not the Rockets' own first, and it's a pick that a Phoenix team that we don't know will be in 2027. And as we've talked about, those Golden State picks are enticing here, but the combination of Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga for me doesn't do it. It's certainly, I like what Houston has to offer here.
All right, but does Houston have the best deal of any team in Texas is the question here. In your story on ESPN.com, there was a potential trade laid out for the Spurs with Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, and 3 first-rounders. Which deal do you like more?
Houston, still sanguine as far as being part of that deal here. I do feel that the San Antonio projected trade is a quality trade when you look at Rookie of the Year Stephon Castle. But here's the thing, George, 3 future first-round picks. This is a roster that's still going to have Victor Wembanyama, Giannis, and Dylan Harper on her. What's the value there of that?
Okay, fair enough. And then there were 2. The last proposed deal would keep Giannis in the East, heading to Atlanta in exchange for Trae Young, former #1 overall pick Zachary Risachet, and 4 first-rounders, one of which would be a potential crown jewel here because it's that New Orleans unprotected pick this year that was all ballyhooed and discussed. So, Bobby, who takes the cake here?
Well, it's Atlanta because, as we mentioned when the segment started, they checked the 3 criteria. When you look at the draft picks, remember this is a Pelican pick that could potentially fall in the top 5. Now, when you add Milwaukee's own in New Orleans, you could be having 2 lottery picks. And then you look at future draft assets here, certainly 3 first-round picks. A player in Trae Young, yes, there are certainly some flaws with him, but still an all-star player. He's got a player option for next year. And a former #1 pick, Zachary Risachet, who you don't have to figure out on an extension until 2027. So controllable contracts, rookie players, draft equity, and players on short-term deals. It's Atlanta that has the most to offer in a Giannis trade.
All right, big money marks. Thank you for the time. We appreciate it. It looks like he's got black Air Force One energy there as well. All right, Bobby, thank you so much. All right, so here's the deal, Tim. Do you like the idea of the Hawks pushing all the chips to the table?
I like the idea of the Hawks pushing their chips in much more than I do either of the Texas teams, right? I don't know that Trae Young is going to be part of the Hawks' long-term future. That is murky at best right now. But I can tell you this. Alperen Sengun will be part of Houston's future. I checked with a high-ranking Rocket source today, and they said they would not make any move for a starters 30s that would shorten their runway. And by the way, they were able to acquire KD without shortening the runway. Jalen Green, young player, but they ranked him 6th among their most valued young players on their roster. They see Sengun as part of that group for years to come. And, you know, I would be shocked if San Antonio would include Castle or Dylan Harper in any deal for similar reasons.
All right, fair enough. Any thoughts?
I thought the Golden State one is fascinating.
Yeah.
Living in the Bay Area, there's Giannis buzz all the time, you know, seeing him there. But seeing Draymond Green on that list,
yeah, I don't know.
Certainly quite interesting there, but there's definitely some love for Giannis.
Giannis and Steph Curry have a relationship, same agency. There's always been something there. I just think there's 29 other teams in this league that should make it out. Maybe I could say Oklahoma City doesn't need to call, okay? But everybody else in the league should be getting together their best offer.
Why not?
I'll still go off the board. I still think Miami always finds a way to get involved in these conversations. I think the Lakers are finding a way to get involved in these conversations. Just the timing of this during the season is very different than an off-season move.
All right, well, we'll see. It's going to be fascinating to watch. By the way, we got more trades.